Just have to be the canopy as well.
Bluebird.
What?
Same as the bluebird. Yeah, the next day.
He's the child of all the streets, wouldn't he?
I would be.
Party every weekend.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Finance and General Purpose Committee. This meeting is taking place on Tuesday, the 14th of September, 6:30 p.m. It's a live stream to YouTube. It will be available for a minimum of 6 months. Please be aware traditional meetings can be used in media broadcasts. I'm going to be Chair of the Finance and General Purpose Committee. I would like to extend a warm welcome to the members, officers, and members of the public and media who are watching this live stream. Move to item 1 on the agenda. Apologies for absence.
James and Joe both asked him for their apologies and when you did it to he's already been in touch.
Any declaration of interest? Anyone? Under item 3, I'd like to raise a point. I requested that the Christmas tree item be removed from the agenda to give time for more information to be available for us to improve our decision. So we have to reappear on the agenda for item 9. It was item 10. So apologies for that. It should be reappeared.
Yeah, for the thing, for the proceeding, the announcements, yeah, the Christmas tree thing, fair enough, yeah, it was a bit sort of sketchy, there's probably more information to put together to maybe give a few more options or something like that, other than from me, just from generally, there was an email from CDAC about training that went round for finance. If anybody's interested in joining up on that, drop us an email, send us a line now, I'll get you put in. Flags, it's Battle of Britain Day tomorrow. We've got pictures put the RAF flag up, so it looks nice in the protocol thing. The other thing I've got is we've had just a general thing we're talking about. I was going to mention later on. We've done about the Civic War. We've had a couple of weddings in the last couple of weeks. We've had a smaller one and a bigger one. Both went very well. Both very well received. I think Peter and Nicola and Peter have done it before. The rest of them hadn't done it before. I did a lot with the one on Saturday. We've got an email from the person who just wanted to say a huge thank you to all your team, all the hard work made out there, absolutely perfect, and we can't thank you for it. So nice little thing for that. The first thing we've done on the big hall. When everybody was on the day, I was there the night, and everybody on the day was absolutely over. So it was a nice thing to do. And the one the week before was a smaller scale one, but equally there seemed equally as pretty low, but different levels. So cool. So thanks to I didn't do a lot, so thanks to Pete and Nicola and Anna, so the key players on the day. And the other thing is I've made a bit of on the agenda. I think the council have been set up. I noticed that an error on the agenda, so we did and that's why the internal audit reports kind of jumped on one, disappeared on one. We've got Gordon's coming in October to do his annual internal audit, so I just did a list on there. So I'll send that around everybody just to make sure we've got that. But just basically it was for information. It was just like, well, that's what's happening in October. And obviously once we get the reports back off them, we'll bring them back to finance for the future thing. So sorry for that one for us, that's me for now.
That's some good news about the weddings.
Yeah, they went really well. I mean, people really did. They talked about bathroom walks, like less than 20 grand and that.
And prices up.
Yeah.
Can I explain that?
Of course.
There was a conversation about, selling this building as a wedding venue, and that never happened. There is, and having spent 20 years in that trade, there is a space for a venue like this, middle of the range, good weddings, and you can you can make money on weddings, and I will never know to this day why it was never progressed. That we did more.
Certainly the feedback that we've had, people were and I think we've kind of, we've changed the focus a little bit. I think there was once upon a time it was we were looking at like being set up as a proper like wedding planner type of thing, and we've gone more down the sort of room hire. We don't get involved in a lot of the detail. Like I mean, this one said that their friend bought them, their sort of money both out, the sort of DJ out, and we sorted some things out for them. They dressed the hall, we put the tables out. So certainly that worked really well for us. Because obviously none of us have good experience getting involved now in my new shy of that, and sort of spoiling somebody's big day by the rose being around shade of pink or something like that on the dates. And, you know, but definitely, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if for the two weddings that we've had, the people that attended, that we did get a bit more just on word about nothing.
And today's year, we had a big placard out there about taking weddings in. You haven't sure we'll take it down and stop it. Okay?
He's not here now, so.
I don't know, this is what's happening all the time.
So it's supposed to go.
Remember, do you want
Do we have a license for a registrar?
Yeah.
Just obviously, I mean, people still get married in Stanley, thankfully, but not a lot of people can afford to get married in Stanley at the current. Currently, it's not a charge, so.
I think I mean, the way we did it, I mean, the way we did it on the first one was just basically here. We had the bar, we came in the bar, they congregate in the bar, we set the room up with the wedding table, registrar turns up, bride and groom, keep them separate at the start, meet up here, had the wedding in here, went down at the bar, and had a few drinks and wait for the transport to come elsewhere. And the other one on the Saturday, they sort of missed the big sort of reception room. If you know what I mean, they do it like tea time-ish.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing, same setup with the room. This is probably just the room there, except for the penis. Same thing, registrar, got married, went downstairs, got the photos, took everybody, went to home, this whole movie.
Do we physically advertise the fact that we can do that?
We're putting it on the website. To be honest with you, going back a little while ago, we put together a wedding brochure, but I think that involved loads of different elements of what we're doing to put together.
I mean, even if it's just advertised on the website, it's a point of.
I think we're going to use a couple of the photos. One of them said you can put these photos up and put them on the website and see like that. I don't really use my photos to give it a bit of a push. But it's nice to think we can do the small one and we can do the big one. We'll try and accommodate for as best we can. It's more, we haven't got the expertise to start the gang and the whole wedding plan out. So we're not going to get 20 grand.
It sounds like it's something worth sort of following up at advertising. We've got to walk before you can.
We might get two.
Because we do have quite a challenge on the income within the budget for this. Funny,
Glenn from Credo, he was supposed to be doing one of the wedding things, or the brochures. You know?
They drafted up a brochure a while ago, and I think that what they were waiting for was they were waiting for some new photos of the hall. So I think it was when they did it at the time, the hall was like dark red. Before we did it, we got it redecorated, and then we did some new photos, and then it was all put, I mean, Jim Buckley put on roll a little bit because he kind of wanted to still do weddings, but move away from the all singing, all dancing, you know, how many of these do you want, table settings and stuff like that. Nick?
You've got to develop it down the the one you've got now is being well received, being successful. The next is try to expand it.
Try to manage people's expectations, work with the people and work with the people on what we can deliver and what they can do, and work together to do it. But we both were really well received, so we might stop no quick already. 2-0 winning like that, we're in front.
Angelus can be the first wedding we have here. I'll have a word with Dan. Get it for free.
Oh, I didn't think it's
Thanks, we can use the photos.
Nice positive look. Can we move on to the next item? Microphone. We want item 5, confirmation of minutes. You approve the correct recording of some minutes of the finance and general purpose committee.
I would propose that we accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Is anyone okay with that? No. Item 6, which is the accounts payable and bank reconciliation.
Thank you, Chair. Item 6, accounts for payment and bank reconciliation for June and July. So attached to the agenda is the monthly schedule of payments and receipts for approval and the bank reconciliations and balances to happy to answer any queries prior to approval.
Anyone have any questions? No? Well, I'll propose it or second it.
I'll propose with that second.
We want to item 7, external audit report.
So the external audit report and certificate has been received confirming no concerns or minor concerns. Apologies that the actual report was not available at the time the general papers were issued. This will be available for full council. So following the conclusion of audit, we are required to publish that the audit has been concluded and that the statement of accounts has been published no later than the 30th of September. So it's all ready to upload on the website on Friday.
Anybody want to make any comments on that brief report? We just know the report. Anybody have the report? Well, item 8, summary events and the city report.
Yeah, I think we're going to be early on the Civic Hall. I mean, I think on the summer events it was just we've been asked to do a more involved report, obviously for a later date on various things. And we said what we do is just give a bit of a global report on how things have gone in the summer. I mean, the events seem to have gone pretty well. The Play in the Parks has a slightly different twist on it this year with a bit of music and things like that. Again, seem to have been pretty well received. We've got it on the night of Sunday, I think. I wasn't there, but I think it always seems to go well with the people that's there and just don't seem to get as many people as maybe thought we would like. Scott's, we've got the events working tomorrow, I think. We're having to Scott work there. Scott's going to bring us a full report of that. And once we get that out of the way, we'll get that back to the group. For the Civic Hall through the summer, the pictures seem to go really well. We've got, Peter did us a bit of a breakdown there and how many we got in. We did well on, I mean, all the attendees really, the most one we got was 37 on one, but we worked 122, 123, 97, 91. I mean, the average sort of cost of the license is about around about 100 quid. So, and if we've got 91 anyway, that's £3 for adults a pound. So we're looking as if we're probably going to actually do all right on that. We're not going to make a lot of money on that, but it looks like we've done more than we need on it at this stage. But we need to do various things like check the bar we're selling sort of various bits and pieces of stuff. So I think it went really well. I mean, Pat gave us a bit of a hand. Pat was giving us a bit of a hand on the Thursdays. They came along with the families they were working with. It's a bit of a treat. We also had I think it was Tanfield or Tantum, I don't know what. I didn't take the booking, but they turned up 60 kids. There was a big bus turned up. 10 minutes before we started, 60 kids got up and it came from here to the bus, which was absolutely brilliant. What it's all about. We're all in for the pound. Everybody had a really good.
I think it was the sports club that was showing up. Not sure, but I think it was.
Yeah, I spoke to Peter. I think he said somebody it was Tantum. So absolutely brilliant. I mean, if anybody's been putting the word around there and getting some business in, that would really appreciate that. But there are great deal. We've got a popcorn machine and candy floss. We've started selling a bit of that. And to be honest with you, it's the kids love it. You know, it just gives them a bit more of an experience. And we're all right with that. So that's the cinema seems to have gone well. We'll do a full breakdown later date. And the events that we did in the summer seem to have gone down pretty good as well. Because the Civic Hall moving ahead, I mentioned the two weddings. We're starting to get everybody back in. Pretty much all we've got 2 groups in the night. All the little theatre groups, all our little regular groups is all coming back in. We've got those who gyms booked up for a fight night. MMA's booked up for a night. Southmore Theatre, which was also booked in as well. So it seems to be there's another couple of dance groups as well. That's getting booked in. So we're kind of getting everybody back in. So fingers crossed. Panto is the other one that we've got coming up. We've had a word with Reese. We've had a word with Braille as well. So obviously about sort of pushing out and trying to advertise it. At the minute, we've not done massive sales. We're talking at least nobody has. We have got one school, which is we've got four for schools. So we've got one out of that for schools, or just took out 300 kids and we put that one out for them. And I think Les got about 50 from the JMB. I think we haven't sold massive amount of tickets. We've got a lot of interest. People are showing interest in it. But anyone's buying tickets. I think that's easy to see everywhere. People's maybe scrolling on later in the year, fingers crossed. We're getting some posters done, again, just putting out there, spread the word, and we'll see what we get with it. But it's moving slowly. But what we're finding as well is we're finding like, we did a dance school thing, I think it was in Morfell. And following that, we've got a number of bookings for the panto from that area. So I think people that's coming in here have a look at then doing it. So I think trying to get things in are not going to affect the spread of the word out properly. So we'll persevere with that, we'll keep us up at table. But that's, I appreciate it's not stats and figures, but something in general. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, wondering if we've had any big bookings for the films, is it worth getting back in touch with those groups to see if they might be interested in the pantomime?
Definitely the school I've spoken once on the phone and sort of saying like, Joe, and I think because I think the thing with the panto is it's a lot more expensive than but we still do a discount for a group. We'll let somebody get like it was nice, a carer, a teacher, which is the same thing. We're getting them in for free. And I mean, they did say they were interested in coming back to us for that, so which is great. So we don't know how many, because I mean, really we need to be pushed it out against, because the block bookings are great. You're not relying on 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, but certainly, yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, obviously, if you've got contacts for the bigger groups that have come in, it might be worth just dropping them a line.
That's what we're trying to do. We've emailed the schools a couple of times, we've emailed a few groups that we've got done previously. I've had a word with James, we're getting some posters out to come, so we're going to try and get them pushed out a little bit as well. And do a bit of door knocking, just go to a few places, knock on the doors and just say, like, look, can you put this poster up? You know, by the way, if you like, if 10 years want to come, you get it a bit cheaper. You know, try and push it out.
One of the things with the schools is that 2 years ago, or before lockdown, they all had pantos booked up. So they've just it's been rolled over. And definitely with Tanfield School, that's what's happened. So they're taking them to the theatre round because it's already been booked in people for 2 years and paid for. So, you know, I was pushing it, but she said, we were a bit late. We were about a year and a half too late.
I mean, that's the thing about, I mean, we're looking as well at the schools, not just in the Stanley, to be honest.
Yeah.
We've given Stanley the first shot. We did send everybody in Stanley an email around, but we're looking at schools, maybe the next little bit out, to see whether any of them's got a, you know, got into school. We just need to pick up, especially with the actual 2 days identified for the schools. If we can just get another 3 and get them all in 4 little events booked out, that'd be excellent for us. Be a good start.
I just can't remember the last one we had here. The school book for the next year, the way was there.
Yeah. I think that's what Reese is saying. I mean, Reese says that it's very much, things like the schools are very much a rolling thing. They come, they have a good time, they book for next year. You know, and that's I think this year's going to be a bit, maybe it's a bit tricky, but the production values are really good. We've got some famous guys, really famous guys.
It should be an interest for the school, for the reporting downstairs, and contact them.
I think a lot of people, what they say is like people will have to enjoy this year and then buy the tickets for next year as soon as they're on sale. So it's about getting into that. But I think he's been talking to places like Concert and everybody's in a similar boat to us. So we're pushing it. Yes, we've got in, but we are.
Yes, that sounds positive. So anybody else with anything to add on? Okay, Right, we'll go on to item 10, memorials and recognition.
Me again. Great. If you're sitting there, it's right.
It's amazing how much you've got here.
This was something that came from a question we got. We've got a question that was about when Ruby Goldsworth died, who was a long time friend of the Civic Hall. It says what should the council do to recognise somebody who's died and contributed on over the years. I had a look around, and basically there's lots of different ways that you can do that. It's a case of what members really think is the best and the most appropriate. Obviously we've got the Town Mayor's Awards every year that picks up people in the community that's giving them a bit of a reward for the community work that they do. We have our memorials that we do annually, the war memorials and many memorials. We've got our plaque scheme, which again, that's more of a formal sort of thing. But I think what we do is a lot of the stuff that we do recognise sort of people as a group rather than people like individually. Some of the options available, you'll have read the report, but I looked through is like a plaque. And certainly I mentioned this to some of the people in the group, and they said, why, rather than do individual ones, you could do a big one, which says this is to everybody who's worked here in the Civic Hall over the years, and then maybe the people that what you call it, you could do something like that. You can also do small individual ones that you see, in theatres that's attached to backs of chairs, etc. Things like that go open up to sponsorship. I think it works better somewhere in a more permanent theatre, or a theatre rather than it does here. I did a bit check around, and you can get one in the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. It's only 10 grand a year, and then just less than 25 years and take it home. So we're not looking at that sort of thing. But that's the. I think a part of that is the issue that do you still allow anybody to buy one and name it? You can do something like that, or are we going to have a policy which we say who does it from where? You can do things like a tree. You can get trees and put in. We've got a number of trees. We've got road projects. There's a garden, an adoption of a space as a memorial space. We've talked about this with the heritage thing, but I think that was on more grander scale, like the Magna Heritage and the war stuff and the war memorials. But there's various places like the garden on the front there, which just off the top of my head, which potentially could be. We've got it fenced off. We've got the little cool truck in there. We're going to put a plaque in there. We're going to put something in there again, just to everybody, and it just gives people that they can, if it's a memorial, that people can see that when the building's closed. Bench, you can get a bench put in, or you can stick a plaque on a bench. Like we've got two benches out in the front of there, which have got our logo on. They put a bench on there. And obviously there's an event as well where if the South War Group's supposed to couple of members. I think it wasn't just Ruby Goldsworth, I think there was somebody else as well who was in that South War Group who died a few months earlier as well. So it's about things like that. There's sort of support.
Somebody killed the airplane crashed down Samuel. Used to be the second friends of it, I think it was.
Part of the issue is who says who gets it, basically. If it's a case of you can go down the sponsorship route where somebody buys one for somebody and we put it on, or is it a case of, like we do with the heritage plaques, where somebody comes to us and says, I think so-and-so should have something. So again, it's probably just a starter rather than a finish at this report, because there's a lot of different options there. It may need a bit of development along certain lines, depending on what members look at. Budget-wise, for a plaque, like a smart plaque on the back of one of the sheets, you're talking less than 40 quid. 10 grand, less than 40 quid, tell them that. The big ones that we do, they're about they're about nearly £400, I think, for the big blue thing, if you were doing one of the heritage plaques to say this is for, and then we would put that in reception or something like that, so that's an option as well. So to summarise, there's loads of ways you can do it. We don't do anything specifically there's loads of ways you can do it. Part of it depends whether the council wants to recognise people, or we want to give people the opportunity to do something to recognise people that's there. Do we want to keep it theatre-based? And what happens if it's somebody else? You know, it's difficult to say. You're a theatre group, you get it. Yeah, you don't. So it is a difficult thing to make a decision on. There's lots of options. I did touch on some there. So basically, I'm quite happy to throw it open to the meeting. Take on board what anybody's got, and if it's a case of exploring 2 or 3 maybe avenues or there's a decision, I'm going to take that on board.
I think it'd be a good idea to put a plaque on with the bench out there.
That was suggested, you put it on a bench, you could just literally, the bench is already in place and you have to put a thing on there. And it's similar, you could do, I mean, the issue that you always get without being horrible is you want to remove someone who comes and what about the attitude, you know. So I think some individual more general one.
I think
you hit the nail on the head when you said there's a bit of a scattergun approach. I think you need to get in a row. How we're going to do it, you know, where people fit, you know, the personal ones and that.
So sorry, hey, Joe.
Right. I've known Ruby for a long time. She did an enormous amount of work.
She did.
Not only when we've been here, but long before we even came. Long before we came. She's been an absolute stalwart of this building, and she's done every job from washing a dish to you know, handing out leaflets, selling raffle tickets, making coffee, sweeping floors. She's done it. And with a good heart.
Certainly you want the family when she got so
It's all right.
I think when she came up with the funeral, they actually drove up from the building and all the groups stood outside.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, we went up as well, and so and you can tell the funeral.
Absolutely. She's given a lot of her time and a lot of her talent over the years. Too many years for me to remember, to be honest with you. And I think it would be remiss of us to not do something. What that is, that's for a bigger conversation. But I think, you know, we put a plaque up to Alan Armstrong, you know, and we named the theatre after Alan Armstrong, to one of the people. And because we haven't done it before, it doesn't mean to say we can't start to do it. It can be something that we could bring on in the future, because to be truthful, I know the Friends has gone, but every theatre needs a Friends of. Every theatre needs a one, and that's how we encourage people to come into it. I just think we need to think positively about what we could do for somebody that's given so much, like I say, from washing a dish to whatever she was asked to do. Where we decided to put it is lovely, but I think, you know, and if there's a cost, and I'm going to say this, if there's a cost, then I'm happy to find that cost. So that it costs us, the council, nothing, I'm happy to find that cost.
We do, I think we have a heritage plaque.
We do.
So if we're not going to do a big plaque, there's no reason why we can't spend it, that's all.
That's the next person to be Billy Redmond.
Well, you know, that's another.
Billy's not very well.
No, he's not.
Don't preempt. I'm not finding a plaque in advance, Alex.
No, but I'm just saying.
Sorry, Alan.
Hey, just like to thank you for the report. It raises some interesting points and stuff, but I think we need to develop more before we make any formal decisions on stuff. And I propose we ask the staff to come up with some suggestions on what the actual criteria for the memorials.
Well, we suppose we do need criteria, don't we, as to who, but if we're just looking at the business of having Ruby, or in the first instance, you could use that as a tester, to see, you know, test the water, just ask, I mean, even if it was to consult with that family, yeah, just to see if they were, what sort of thing they would consider to be appropriate.
Just along the end of what Alderman Ella said, I think if we are going to be putting up plaques or memorials, specifically when it comes to certain people and not groups of people we need to be coming up with criteria, because we are going to get people who say, well, why are you giving this person a plaque and this person a plaque, and we have to have reasons for that, because these things do cost money, and I know external groups might want to raise funds for that, but if the council's taking the cost, we should have a criteria for one of those plaques or whatever it is.
I think that, yeah, I think the lady mentioned that, so we'll recognise somebody like that, what they've done, that can be a category in itself, that giving, as I say, bringing the family and see what the family wants to do as well. I mean, that's what we always the key. So that's what we could start. So, I've had a proposal on the second one. Do we need to decide, do we?
I think the criteria should come from us. You know, I absolutely do. I think we're the councillors, I think we should, you know, it's public funds, we should be coming up with the criteria.
And I'm quite happy everybody just dropped us what they're thinking. I'll post something again. I mean, as regards the family, I was split the family. Actually, there's a swim cave in. I think there's a swim cave in because you have to swim the leaflets where for like remembrance things, you know, because it used to be thankful for when everybody could pass, which was really nice of them. The bigger plaque was the Sangola, which was on the spot, Sangola. And I actually, when this got first raised, they come and say something about the event. And I sort of said, I sat down and said, what do you think about this? And they were overruled, now I'm going to recognise them as a member. And they were the ones that said, so maybe you can do a one there. Everybody that's been in the scene, you know, like a general thing, then you're not missing anybody out, and you're not excluding anybody for a time limit or anything like that, you know. But certainly, like I say, when I did a little bit of research on this, there was just loads of options out there, and it's just about picking the one that suits us best, you know.
You know, take Councillor Lincoln's point in hand. Do we set up the criteria with ourselves, the councillors put in the suggestions to work with through the officers?
The proposal was for the staff to create the criteria, but as long as Alan's okay with that, I'm happy to amend it to say that the council as a whole will come up with ideas for criteria.
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement with that? We need to move on to item 11, which is the strategic grant fund.
Who's this? Mr. Tubman. Yeah, this is a funny one. I mean, to be honest with you, we got asked, this is probably a pretty straightforward one if I'm honest. I did a brief report, and pretty much what I did was just reproduce the email that the person said. I mean, we did give a grant to Beamish Strikes football team for £1,000. COVID hit, we never got it spent. Basically, the club of the team folded at all, and the majority of them places got to another club, which also requires some money. They haven't spent it yet. The phone us up and went, can we transfer it to another person? We basically said, well, not with the policy, we would say no. If you want us to ask beyond that, we can ask members if they have an opinion on that. But ultimately, we would say there's nothing in the policy which says you can transfer your grant or another thing. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have the grants this year, so it's not like they're going to have the new club can apply for the grant. But I mean, our recommendation pretty much would be, it doesn't say it's not transferable within the current policy. But I was asked by the person if I would bring it yourself, so I said I would mention it.
I think that's a great plan.
See, my opinion on this is that basically, the more we've been asked to consider it, what I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the policy doesn't allow for that. And we as members have got to follow the policy. So basically, what I would suggest that we do there is you write the lady a letter and explain the situation we've got and the policy, actually include a copy of the policy and highlight, because there's several issues that relate to what you have to comply with, which is why the policy was developed in the first place. And it's also got to be seen to be failing party. Basically, it's taxpayers' money. Eradicating storage, you know. So I
Give it a really good, then I didn't think it's right up there. You get
So
some.
personally, I don't think we need have a vote on that. We just need something to do with it. Take that action.
When we looked at when we got the original inquiry, that's what we said. We said normally it's not transferable. We understand where you're coming from, that comes from the anymore now, that kids are still going to football somewhere else. But again, when we do a grant, we look at the financial criteria, that group, we look to see where, I mean, it's all right seeing that we haven't got the money for the website, got a bit of a sponsor elsewhere or something like that.
Several hurdles.
So I think in this case, we'll just say, right, fair enough, I'll take it.
12 events.
That'll be
Don't
nice.
tell me it's
I mean, it was just the minutes of the events group. I mean, I think this one goes back probably even 3 months now. It will be there. It comes to free was on that. And that, to be honest with you, I think we've had hardly events since we've had the minutes on this group. So it's just for members' information. We've got another events meeting this week. So hopefully we'll get back. We should also be looking at the back end of the year, a review of the summer and the back end of the year events. So it's just for members' information.
I have a suggestion for the events group. It's Christmas related.